Hey guys, Al here. Welcome to my spin-off show from Thors-Kin podcast. I'm going to be calling this Al's Bitchin' Corner, I think. That's the name I like for it anyway so far. You may have seen Jimmy's preview midweek, and it's got us thinking maybe we can put a bit more content on the channel. So now look, I came up with the idea of, because we like to bring a positive show to you every week at Thors-Kin podcast, there are certain things that I feel like I need to get off my chest. Alright, now I'm going to spend 15 minutes just whinging. There's only a few subjects that I want to talk about, but I feel there are things that need to be talked about. Now look, I could fill up a whole bloody podcast for the things that annoy me during the week. So bear with me. This is the first time I've done this, and I've got to tell you, without my my podcast bitch, wife, brother, Jimmy with me, it's a bit weird talking on my own into a mic, so it's going to be a bit weird, but it'll get better, hopefully. Now this, like I said, is going to be like my therapy session, and there's, look, I'm a 31-year-old man now, and it's not that old, but I think it's old enough to start getting really annoyed at the small things in life, okay? And there are a few things I want to talk about, okay? First of all, I'm going to start off with all this DC shit that's going on at the moment. Talks about the Scorsese Joker Origins movie, the Jared Leto movies with the Joker Harley Quinn romance movie, the Sirens movie, all this talk about Ben Affleck's Batman movies not being part of the DCEU. You know what? These fucking rumours, right? They're hurting the DCEU right now, and I don't believe half the shit that's being said. You may have seen a video I put, or a link to a video I put on our page with Jared Leto. It was like a radio interview where he said there's a lot of bullshit going on at the moment, a lot of rumours, and I think there are people producing this to try and sabotage the movies coming out. Now listen, I think personally we know too much about the inner workings of movies. We instantly know the casts. A lot of people will post up script, video footage of them filming films. We get to know everything straight away. Even films that don't quite make it to production. There's a lot of talk about the Gambit movie a couple of years ago with Channing Tatum, which never made it, and everyone was all buzzed about it and excited about it, and it never went anywhere. So that's just a prime example of how this knowledge that we have about the makings of movies can get everyone hyped up and then everyone disappointed, and it also ruins the romance of a movie. I remember as a kid, you'd hear they were making a new Jurassic Park or whatever, you know, and you just wait for it, and then it would be released. You'd go to the cinema and watch it, and the magic would just appear before you, you know. Now I know I sound like an old bastard saying that, but I do believe that these rumours that are coming out about all the different movies that are coming out, it does ruin it. I mean, look for example with Infinity War, okay? Obviously, if you've read the comic books, you know what's going to happen. But people have shared this, and they know that there's probably going to be deaths. We've spoke about it before on the show. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I'd like to get some feedback off you guys. Do people appreciate all this extra information we get? Or does anybody agree with me? Do you agree that maybe we could cut down on a bit of this information and just wait for the surprise? I mean, before I started doing the podcast, I used to avoid trailers like the plague, honestly. I would never, ever watch the extended trailers because I did that with Batman vs Superman, and I feel like by the time the movie come along, I'd watched most of the movie, and it really disappointed me. So, but now I have to look at the trailers and review them for you guys, which I don't mind. It's my dream. But look, yeah, inner workings of movies. Let's just try and cut down on it. It pisses me off. Okay. Now look, I'm gonna lead on to my place of zen. Okay, when I've been had a long week at work, or I've had a lot of stress, there's nothing better than to sit back with a beer or some popcorn and just smash a box set. Go and sit and watch Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad or whatever's on at the moment, you know. And recently Game of Thrones has finished, and it was spectacular, by the way. Everyone's talking about it. It's a buzz, and to me it's probably the most perfect piece of television ever made, Game of Thrones. And you know what, I like to talk about it. I love talking about Game of Thrones with fellow Game of Thrones watchers, until I come to some bonehead who doesn't watch it. Look, I don't trust Game of Thrones non-watchers, and I'll tell you why. Okay, because it's such a massive show, everyone is watching it. I just believe that maybe, you know, people that don't watch the show aren't the type of people to follow convention. And if you're not going to follow convention, the logic of that for me is you're not going to follow rules. So people that don't watch Game of Thrones are thieves, murderers, and villains. Okay, so look, Game of Thrones is probably one of the most illegally downloaded programs in history. So that's got to mean something. Okay, if you've never watched Game of Thrones and you're putting it off because you're stubborn, not because of anything to do with the story, you're shooting yourself in the foot there, because you're missing out on one of the highlights of TV and movie history, I believe. So I really would recommend it to you. And from now on, do you know what? I'm gonna call Game of Thrones watchers the Unsullied, and for the most obvious reasons that Game of Thrones watchers will know about. But if you don't watch the show and I call you an unsullied motherfucker, we'll all be laughing at you, but you won't know why. Okay, so do me a favour and watch Game of Thrones and stop being a bitch about it. Okay. Okay. Now look, there's been a big story lately about North Korea, right? Now we know this has been building up for a few years now. All this talk about nukes and how we don't want them to have nukes. We've all been following the news. Now, up until recently, the US have been doing this really weird thing, and I guess we've been following suit with it. And that is by taking the piss and telling King John Twat that his missiles aren't going to work. They're gonna blow up in their face. America have been waving their fat chubby fingers in their face, laughing, taking the piss. And you know what? All the while, this chubby mobhead cunt has been getting angrier and more determined to prove America wrong. And you know what? Trump fucking deserves it. He deserves a fucking missile up his ass, I'll tell you what. But the thing is, it won't be him that will get killed and blown to pieces, will it? It'll be the American people, which is awful to think about. Anywho, this situation is a bit of a worry, but what I don't want to see, every fucking time this shit happens, is fucking Rupert Murdoch splashing war all over the newspapers, war all over the news, trying to scare people. You know, I'm sure there was a better way of dealing with this, and instead we just took the piss and let them get on with it. And now they've detonated a nuke, which was 5 times the size of Hiroshima, and that is a hell of a dangerous scale for a bomb. Like, that thing would flatten a town, you know. And it is scary, I get it, but you know what, the people need to be relaxed. They need to be calmed down in a situation like this. You don't want to see war all over the fucking papers. I want to see people taking more action rather than taking the piss, you know. It kind of makes you think, do we kind of deserve it, you know? because we've been sat here in our towns of comfort and enjoying life, taking the piss out of them. I don't know. But either way, let's find a better way to calm the people during this terrible situation. Now look, so I have like another problem, and it affects me personally just as much as, if not worse, than the North Korea problem, non-Game of Thrones watchers, and lots of other things. You know, it's a big thing for me personally, and that's to do with music and how things are going lately. And I mean, I'm just looking through my playlist now. I'm 31 now, and like a lot of my music, you can tell what I'm into. You know, I like Foo Fighters. What else have I got here? Bowling for Soup, Biffy Clyro, Bloodhound Gang, Kings of Leon, Limp Bizkit, you know, Muse, Nirvana, Oasis. You know, that's my kind of music, alright? I like other things too. You know, I like a bit of Skrillex, and you know what? I'll listen to Adele. I'll listen to, you know, pop music. Pink. I like Pink. I think she's awesome. Sexy as fuck. But listen, there are a lot of dickheads, these horrible people making music at the moment, and obviously it's the responsibility of these recording labels at the moment that are just releasing music for children, right? Because children are the ones that are clicking on their phones, downloading this stuff, right? I get the logic. However, I just don't think it's very good for creativity. All the bands that I've written, all the bands that I've just told you about, whether you like them or not, right? The music they make, the lyrics they write, the instruments they perform with, is just an amazing thing to watch, to listen to, and to appreciate, right? People like Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, and One Direction, that are just these manufactured factory artists that are pushed out there and like performing monkeys and told to, you know, perform, and these dog shit lyrics with these dog shit fucking music behind it, and make them money, you know. And I get it, but it annoys me. It really, really annoys me. And that's because, you know what, sometimes I find myself listening to the radio, and you know, I don't want my little boy to think I'm a miserable old man by constantly listening to all the music. I want to evolve with music as well. I don't want to be stuck in the past. But there's just nothing out there. I mean, like when I was growing up, there was like pop music, hip hop. There'd be indie, there'd be rock, there'd be dance music. Everything would all be in one place where you could listen to a bit of everything, you know. And that was just with the radio. And I just feel at the moment that a lot of radio stations are kind of censoring out, pushing out a lot of rock music. Like I'm obviously from the UK, and like I listen to Radio 1. I always used to love Radio 1, but they won't play rock music. And the influence of that has been phenomenal. I mean, you've had a lot of bands at the moment. For example, Linkin Park, most recently. Chester Bennington, God rest his soul. You know, he will be missed, but their last album will not be missed by me. I'm sorry, but as much as I love the band, their last album is just an example of an amazing rock band being pressured into making some pop garbage to try and fit in with the current music world, and it shouldn't be like that. Okay, it sends a really bad message. It sends a message that, you know what, the music that you make isn't current. You need to change. You need to change what you do to be able to blend in with society. And you know, I feel that way anyway. Other people might not, and it worries me. And it worries me because I don't want my kid growing up listening to things like Taylor Swift's Bad Blood that she written about Katy Perry, thinking that that's amazing music. Now I'm really proud of my little boy. He likes a lot of my music. We dance around the kitchen to Green Day. Just earlier today, we were jumping around the house listening to Pearl Jam. and he's always going to get that influence from me. I don't care, all right? But I mean, what does everybody else think? I mean, I know there are places we can go to get the music that I'm talking about, the similar bands. There's, if you go onto Apple Music or Spotify, there's always a genre rundown where you can find the music that you enjoy. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's not all together in a chart, easily accessible on the radio, on the music channels, blah blah blah. It's being filtered out, and it really annoys me more than anything that I've talked about today. And yeah, that bounces around in my head all the fucking time. So we need to make a stand, people. And I think, do you know what? Actually, the first people to release a real good rock song, to get out there, a good band to go and smash things to pieces, they're going to make a lot of money, right? Because they're going to create a revolution, and there's going to be more bands coming out. But it needs to happen pretty soon, because this diarrhea shit that's coming out. I mean, little Taylor Swift, right? She's knocked Despacito off the charts. What do you fucking do, right? But she's done it with a song called Look What You Made Me Do. Now this song has gone straight to number 1, right? All the kids are lapping it up. It's amazing. And you know what? I do sound like a miserable bastard, but I don't care, because I've got taste in music. Her new song is... I'm just looking at the lyrics now. I've just Googled it. I just fucking Googled Taylor Swift lyrics. That's bad, isn't it, self? And the lyrics, they're just garbage. My little boy could write better than this. And it's not creative. And do you know what? I bet this song's had about 17 different composers and lyricists all writing these things, and it just sends out a bad message. So yeah, that's my last topic. And I've been umming and ahhing about whether to talk about this, to be honest, because I do, like I said, sound like an old man, but the music has gone to shit lately. But yeah, okay, so look, that's been my opportunity to have a bit of a ramble. I didn't want to make it too long. We're looking at 17 minutes already. 4 little topics. Get shit off my chest. And you know what? I'm going to do this in a couple of weeks, and I'll be in a situation where I can have a real fucking go at something. At the moment, I can't. I've got to be quiet. My little boy's asleep. So next time, I'll probably be smashing my microphone off the desk and really giving it some. But I'd like to know what you guys think of these little segments, these little spin-offs we're doing of the show. We're gonna be throwing a lot more things on our channel as well as the show, the main Thors-Kin podcast. And I would like you guys to like, subscribe, and share everything that comes out of us, because we are gonna grow as a show, and we're seeing a lot of improvements already. So watch this space, and look, thanks very much for listening. This has been a really strange experience, just talking into a mic by myself, so if I do sound a bit wobbly, I'm not making any apologies, because this shit ain't easy. Alright, thanks for listening. Viva Thors-Kin Podcast.